Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Wonderful to have you all with us for this very special webinar, How to Run a Successful Virtual Business, with our friend in the ABC Atlanta Black Chambers, Curtis Robinson. He's with Robinson Consults. Definitely be sure to check out his website. Curtis, I know at some point you will be sharing your contact info. I will dig it up to share as well as you're talking through your presentation this morning. So really excited to have you all here. And this particular webinar is sponsored by Fiserv. So if our friend Tanya Helms shows up, and I know she is planning on showing up this morning, I'm not sure if I see her just yet, but probably towards the end, we'll have her share a little bit of info about Fiserv and how they're serving the small business, particularly Black small business community. So she'll be on a little bit later. Again, if you're just joining, welcome to today's BrandITize webinar. You're welcome, if you're live, to leave your business info in the chat. If you're watching this on the replay, you can definitely leave it in the comments on YouTube, where this will live a couple weeks after this. But those of you who are live, we're so glad to have you here with us. And shameless little plug for myself, because it is my B-Day. So those of you who already know, it's my birthday. And because it's my birthday, I have a little present for you from my own business. So we have a challenge we do every year with the ADS agency, which is my own personal business. It's called the Hello Spring Challenge. It's a free challenge. So if you are new to the ADS agency, again, we do Hello Spring every year, and also Hello Fall. Hello Spring is a way for you to kick off your personal brand, right? So I know everyone in here cares about your personal brand because you're an entrepreneur. A lot of times your personal brand is also the business brand, or you definitely are the biggest brand ambassador for your business. So your personal brand matters a lot. So if you've been struggling with that, or you know people who have been struggling with how to get their personal brand right online, I invite you to my own free challenge, which is at hellospringchallenge.com. It's starting Monday, April 10th. So you've got some time to get in, but again, it's free. You're very much welcome to join. And let me get back to who we're really here for, which is our friend Curtis Robinson. So again, you're here for how to run a successful virtual business. And let me share something with you about Curtis. And Curtis, while I'm introducing you, I'm going to let you share your screen. So Curtis Robinson started Robinson Consulting in 2010 after working for Xerox, AT&T, and Kodak. Curtis has 25 plus years in technology, being on the bleeding edge of such innovations like, I'm going to mess this up, Curtis, but is it VoIP? Is it voice IP? How do you say it?
Voice over IP, or you can say
VoiceOver,
VoIP, right?
VoIP, that's the short version. Okay, thank you. VoIP, streaming video, podcasting, and webinars, to name a few. As you can see, his fancy mic down there. He's got the real deal going. Amazing. And Curtis is passionate about how technology can level the playing field for minority businesses and entrepreneurs alike. So this morning in this webinar, we're learning about tech and tools to run your business virtually, strategies to grow and scale your business using tech, and measuring results, along with some other fun tips Curtis decides to share with us. So welcome, Curtis. So glad to finally have you present for BrandITize. I know it's been a long time in the works.
Definitely. Thank you, Andrea. Happy birthday. And thank you for all joining us as well. Short presentation, really, again, as Andrea mentioned, I'm really passionate about entrepreneurs, especially our community, and how can we use entrepreneurship to really empower ourselves and take care of our families. And the name of the game is really, how do you do that? One of the things is virtual business, growing it, the pandemic kind of changed how we do business. I think it actually hit the fast forward button on technology. There were a lot of things that weren't commonplace at the time, right? QR codes, everyone's used to getting menus, but now it's like QR codes are like the standard. And so the pandemic kind of forced us to grow our technology across how we do it in the future as well. And so this presentation, just really a couple of things about, small businesses and what are some tips and things like that. And then we can kind of talk at the end about maybe some hands-on stuff, maybe questions that you have about specific tools or things like that. So first, about me, as Andrea mentioned, I love this picture because it's from my wedding, and my amazing wife is who really kind of changed my life around. But we'll get into that. But first, really started out in sales. So I started in the sales side with Xerox, AT&T, Kodak. Co-founded a company called Shoutstream Technologies some time ago that use streaming technology. I don't know if a lot of people remember the green screen when people used to walk across the screen. We used to do a lot of those video type presentations as well. And so we founded Shoutstream Technologies, creating podcasts and things like that. I founded Robinson Consulting in 2010 after my wife, was doing video kind of production, and she looked at this IT and kind of looked at the revenue, and she's like, "Wait a minute, these two checks don't line up. This one, they're actually paying you a lot more money for that." So technology is kind of a easy thing for me to do, and so now just since 2010, really focused on using it to generate really a legacy for me and my family. And I put that last bullet, currently unemployable, because I just really thought about it. I could never go back to corporate America. I am officially an entrepreneur for life. So, what is the entrepreneur mindset? So, one of the things I really want to kind of step back and really go back, why do people want to become entrepreneurs? And one of the things that I really looked at is like they want to start a business. They really want the flexibility to kind of come and go when they want, and they really want to be able to generate revenue and get money to make their own money. And so that's kind of why people really want to start. Why do they want to be an entrepreneur? Um, and feel free to pop in with questions or anything you have while we're doing this in the chat, and we'll definitely answer those. And then really want to talk about what are the pitfalls. I'm going to read some data. 20% of new businesses fail within the first 2 years of being open, 45% during the first 5 years, and 65% during the first 10 years. So really only 25% of new businesses make it past 15 years or more. And a lot of the reasons why businesses fail, not having enough money, no plan, putting together the wrong team, unproductive habits, and not being focused on marketing. And so if you look at the little mousetrap, that one's like the setup for the cheese, and then you get snapped. What are some things to get on the right road? And so I really taking a step back. What are some of the ways that you can really get on the right road for, and this is not an exhaustive list, right? Any of these are not exhaustive lists, but really just kind of things to make you kind of go, So one of the things we talk about is like good habits. When I say good habits, not spending, 3 hours on social media in the middle of the day, not making sales calls on a regular planned schedule. Like, how often are you making sales calls? Do you have it in your calendar? Is it scheduled? Do you have a plan or a structure? Really creating a business plan. There's partners that you can use to put that together, having really a foundation and a structure. And then team, being a solopreneur or an entrepreneur, a lot of times you're doing everything. And one of the things that to scale your business is you're going to have to grow a team. As long as you're doing it yourself, you actually don't have a business, you actually have a job. And growing your team is really important when you talk about scaling it and growing the business. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Finding an accountability partner. Who is someone that you can rely on that's going to keep you on task? What are you doing this week? What is your plans like? And someone that you can really share that with. A lot of times we don't share our visions out loud because we really don't want to be held accountable. As soon as you tell someone, you're going to actually have to do it. And then I really talk about like the vision. What is the vision, and what is the time that you're actually putting together that vision? And I called it the vision time. And in this next slide, we'll really talk about that vision time, really creating, taking a step back and creating a timeline for your vision. When I say creating a timeline, is it 6 months? Is it 12 months? What is it that the timeline that you've created for actually creating your vision? Why are you doing it? The why has to be bigger than you. You can't just say, oh, it's because me, I just want to make money. It really has to be bigger than just yourself. What is the legacy? If you have grandchildren, like me, for me, it's, making sure that my grandson and my granddaughter are set up so that they don't have to do anything. They've already got built-in businesses and revenue that's actually generated for them. So what is the why? It has to be bigger than you. And then what are you creating in detail? And when I say in detail, I mean like every detail of it. What does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? Um, there's a number of books that are out there. I'm not going to get into the whole metaphysical thing, but it's in the Bible, right? Make it plain, Think and Grow Rich. There are a number of books that really talk about really being inside of the vision, getting the details of it, and then really doing the hard work. A lot of times people don't want to do that hard work. And that's the hardest work, is actually taking the time, stopping, writing these details down. I want to make a lot of money. Well, what does that look like? What's a lot of money? Is it $5,000 a month? Is it $10,000 a month? You have to write it out and write out specifically what that looks like every week. What are you selling? And then really put together what is the team that you're actually using to grow that as well. And so there are a number of plans, and I can share some other with you on how to really create those steps. And you want to break it out to 12 months in advance if that's how you're doing it, and then actually work backwards. So if it's 12 months that you want to do this, you want to go work backwards. What did you do month one inside of that goal? Write it down for each week. What did you do that week? If you just want to start somewhere, if it's just creating your team, making sure that everyone's on board with you, then week two, what are you doing inside of that? But you want to create your plan forward, out, what are you doing? And then step backwards, work it backwards. It's really hard because I know a lot of times our mind, we want to just do from today going forward, but really it's about building the vision from the future coming backwards. And you want to have those details. What is it that you're actually creating in detail? Perception is king. And I love this image that I found, which was really the seedling growing. When I say perception is king, your email address, if you have an at AOL address, I mean, even though it gets you email and stuff, there actually is a perception inside of like having at Bell South or at AOL or at Gmail. Those addresses, you want to have an email address that's at your own domain name. And I put down Google Workspace, Office 365, or a couple of providers that allow you to be able to do that. Andrea can talk to about branding on here as well. But those are branding issues. You really want to make sure that your brand stands out, and that from a perception standpoint, that you're bigger than you are. And those things will definitely help you. Your website, that's definitely, yes, web Hotmail. See, those things, people look at that and they may not say anything, but it definitely means small. And so you want to have one that's at your own domain. Your website wants to be reflective, even if you only got a couple of pages, shrink it down, but make sure it's effective. I put down contact center. We are a hosted voice provider, and RC Voice is our product. We use automated attendance. My customers, I have a recording for all of them. Even if they're only got two phones, they might have four options, and every option you hit is one extension, but at least when they call in, it sounds a lot bigger. So you want to use automated attendant to make your business look bigger. Don't answer the phone, your business line phone, when it's just going straight to you. Use an automated attendant. Voiceover, if you can, there, Fiverr and a couple others you can use to record voiceovers. It's inexpensive, but just really have a professional polish on how your voice sounds. It's branded. Now I do mine because I've heard that people say my voice is good. So I use my own voice. Actually, mine's on a lot of my customers. So I've heard people, wait a minute, I heard your voice and I was calling this company. But a lot of times I'll do voiceover for some of our clients. Um, Voiceover, call queues as you start getting up and you doing more inbound calls. Call queues are definitely some of those things that allows you to maintain, to make sure people aren't getting busy signals and that you have agents to be able to answer those. um, Call back in queue again for the RC voice. If you can't answer the calls in a certain period of time, that the system will actually call back, ask them what number they're calling from, if they want to change it, and actually call them back and hold their place in line. Um, One of the other things that's got to have as a major is a CRM system. I've got some favorites, but there's a number that are out there, and price is a lot of depending on which ones you want. My favorite is VTiger. I like it because you don't have to. It's not per user, which a lot of them are. It's kind of per server, but there's a number that are out there. But you got to have a CRM system, and it stands for Customer Relationship Management. And without a CRM system, you can't keep track of your customers, who they are, notes. You want to be able to have that information readily available. Our platform, our contact center platform integrates with a number of major CRMs that are out there. So when people call you, automatically their record pops up on the screen. So you can pull up those relevant notes and say, oh yeah, I remember you called me, last week or whatever the time is. And you can quickly get that data in front of your screen. You can also use your Zoho works, but there's a number, you just want to see what's the complexity when you build those. A lot of them, may require a lot of upfront learning and knowledge. And if it's, takes you longer to kind of understand the product, then maybe you want to find something else. The good thing is a lot of them you can go back and forth. So you can export out in a comma separated file or Excel file. So if you grow and maybe this was a simpler one, you can actually export your data out into the next model up, kind of like a car. You can get the Volkswagen and kind of upgrade to the Ferrari or the Porsche, but you can export your data out and get to the next one. But again, the integration is important. Workflows. When I talk about workflows, like automating things like, after you put a record in there, you literally could create a field that says, contact this person, and automatically an email could go out. So you just want to start thinking about workflows. CRMs can do that, where they can automatically send out an email to someone you just met and do that on a consistent basis where you're creating, drip email campaigns. Click to dial or some VTiger, like I was saying, is my favorite CRM. Again, because it's easy to start with and there's no per user cost, which a lot of them do, as opposed to like per server. And VTiger is actually free. A lot of people don't know that if you have like a simple GoDaddy hosting plan, if you go into your GoDaddy hosting plan, I can kind of show that at the end. You can actually click. It's called. There is a product inside of GoDaddy. It's called Installatron. Installatron allows you to install a number of open source softwares, from VTiger to Open OS Commerce. There's a number of products that are actually included in your cPanel hosting with GoDaddy for free. But again, CRM is a major one. Email marketing is something that you definitely was the next step up as far as growth level. Google Workspace is something you can get. Google Workspace for $6 a month. Again, we're a Google channel partner. Workspace is email, but they also just came out with this multi send mode. I started playing with it last week, that allows you to send out to your contact list either newsletters or mass emails from Google Workspace, which I thought was pretty unique. Now, again, it's a beginning step because some of the things like open rates, some of the analytics are not there. But again, as an entry line solution to just be able to send out mass emails to people, that has the unsubscribe link and some of the other things that to keep you on the right side of spam laws, it has. And again, MailChimp would be the next step up to give you kind of the analytics and some of the drip email marketing, things like that. And so those are just kind of some ideas about getting to the next growth level. Scaling your business. So we really, as we start talking about, okay, now you got something that's working, what are some things to scale your business and grow it even more? That first person is kind of like the first one beside yourself. Is it a virtual assistant? Is it a contractor? Scaling your business and getting your business to the next level so you are not doing everything is kind of like the holy grail, right? You want to get out of the business of whatever the heck you're doing that you don't want to do and give it to somebody else. And so as we identified in our plan, what are the things that you're good at? What are the things that you're not good at? Well, if you're not good at something, go hire somebody. Find somebody to do that. So again, our virtual assistant, our platform, the RC Voice platform, we have a number of our customers that hire people from all over the world, and they log into the platform. They take calls for them. We have a web chat link where you can actually interface it to your website, a signature link where people can click on in your signature and actually talk to people. It has the capability for predictive dialing, which is the outbound calling. So hiring a virtual assistant could be the next step for you, and plugging them into your platform and letting them do some of the heavy lifting as far as getting in contact with your prospects and customers. Some of the companies that are out there, and again, this is not an exhaustive list, just a couple that I've worked with. Upwork is one, Fiverr. One of the things when you work with these outsourced companies like that is you got to have detail. And when I say detail, I mean like get the meats in there. Like I need you to do X, this, that, this, and I want it for this much money. And then you actually have bid and people, you can interview them and find the people that you want. There are a lot of them. I know Upwork has the ability for people to do manual hours. Unless I'm familiar with the contractor, I do not let them do manual hours. And I've paid too much for people to just all of a sudden bill for something. And I'm like, what did you do? And then, there's the discrepancy, and it's because there was no detail and they didn't do what I wanted them to do. And then I had to turn around and pay for it again. So from my experience, you just want to have detail. A lot of those, at least Upwork has the tracking where it'll actually track their screen and take screenshots of the person's screen every couple of minutes, so you know exactly what they're working on. Cloud computing, cloud computing is like this nebulous thing. Basically, cloud computing is someone else's server that you don't have to touch. I kind of boil that down, and literally to enable you to have the computing power that you need for your website, for your application, whatever it may be, as you start to scale your business, that you don't have to manage. You don't have to worry if it's up. You don't have to worry if it's down, if it's connected. Google has Google GCP, which is their cloud product. And then Amazon has AWS. Both of those platforms scale to ridiculous increments. We use AWS and Google for web and for phone traffic. And I think there's probably combined maybe one or maybe two outages in the last 5 years for both of them together, compared to us trying to do it ourselves. And, we did that. I remember having 52U, for any people who are kind of computer out there, is, a U is 1 U of computer space of a server. And we used to have literally 52, a rack full of stuff that, it was a couple of $1,000s a month. And like when virtualization came, literally all of that disappeared overnight. And now it's gone to cloud computing, where I don't have to do any of that. I can host it in the cloud, have someone else do the headache on it, and we can pay for what's called an SLA, a service level agreement. And if they don't perform, I get my money back. So, if they lose downtime or if they don't perform inside of that service level agreement, then I get refunds. So it's a lot less headache than having to do that stuff on your own. So cloud computing is definitely something to scale your business. Collaboration. Our platform, RC Voice, has video conferencing, Zoom, like we're on now, Google Meet, some of the other collaborative tools to use, again, inside of a virtual business, and really scaling the business to be anywhere, everywhere in the world. And then also e-commerce. You want to make sure people can pay you. So people can click on a link and like give you money, and you want to make that as seamless as possible. My favorite is Stripe. Stripe started out. They weren't as big as PayPal, but I think they've surpassed them as far as the integration and what they do and how it integrates. There's virtual payments now. I was just looking on this morning where you can actually create virtual cards to give to contractors, to give to people to use, so that you don't have to give them your real credit card. If they're building an application for you that someone that takes payment, you don't actually have to give them your real credit card. You can actually give them one of these virtual cards and put a certain amount on it. So Stripe is one, PayPal is another one, but you want to make it easy for people to pay you. Literally create a link, a button, pay me, and make it very easy for them. Websites, Zelle's definitely there. Zelle's definitely one. And there's a number. Like I said, this list isn't exhaustive. The biggest thing is to make it easy for you. Sometimes if you're mobile and you're out in the field, you want something that can interface with your phone. Sometimes I know Apple stopped doing the headset jack, so now you got to do a Bluetooth. But used to have the ones that plugged into that to the headset jack that you can swipe cards. Nowadays they all have to have chips due to the new payment processing, and if you do not use chip readers, you will actually have to pay chargeback. So you want to make sure if you do start taking in-person payments that you use a chip reader to prevent chargeback, because if you don't actually use chip readers, you can actually suffer chargebacks. Blockchain definitely is one of my favorites. So a blockchain is definitely another way that you can use for payment. And glad to see crypto is on the rise. Woo-hoo, for all my crypto people out there. Yeah, definitely the hedge against inflation, but that's another conversation for another day. So e-commerce, really, how do you make sure that people can pay you and pay you easily? Website, WordPress, Wix, there's a couple of ones that are out here. So you really want to look at those as far as scaling it. I would really look at who do you have on your team and what does your team look like as far as when you talk about your website. If you're not doing it yourself, you want to make sure it's something that your team that you're growing and you're building can do that. And then I put artificial intelligence. AI is coming, whether we like it or not. And it literally sounds like, I think November, this open AI platform came out, and it is like changing the world that we live in. Literally. I'm like, Microsoft owns a piece of it, and it seems like they're sticking it in everything they got. I mean, every time I open a Microsoft product, I get a notification that their AI is stuck in there. So it's not going away. It's definitely coming, and you want to understand how it works. How can it go in your business? How can it, influence what you do? And at the end of the day, it make it easier for what you do and scaling your business. All right. And so those are just a few ideas on scaling your business. One of the other things is measuring your results. Now, as we talk about this, actually understanding if you're being successful is very important. And one of the things I put at the top of the list is being honest about what you see. A lot of times we get excited and we tell ourselves all of these fallacies and lies, but the sooner that we can just get reality, either I'm not making money, I am, what's my profitability, the better that it's going to be for you. And one of the things that we want to look at, something even profit margins. It's simple, but it's not simple, right? Understanding upfront what you want to track for your success. The difference between expenses and costs of sales, right? Expenses could be something like office paper. Cost of sales might be that part that you need to actually deliver for your customers. It makes a big difference when you're putting your numbers together, because it can actually help you understand your profit margin. And again, I'm not an accountant or anything like that. I'm just learning firsthand for myself. Really understanding what are those things up front that you want to track. What are you tracking? Your pro forma, your cash flow. You want to understand up front what you want to track. I put a couple of things as far as in the virtual space, analytics, Google Analytics. the email marketing analytics, open rates, is, did they click on the email? Did they open it? Did they click through? Did they actually hit the buy page? All of that can be tracked. Google's good at tracking that. Financial reports, again, cash flow, pro forma, those kind of financial reports are going to give you the analytics that you're looking. Are you successful in it? The CRM, the sales funnel, very important. How many calls do you need to make every day to hit that number that you came up with? Are you making it? And just look at the end of the week. Did I make the 20 calls that I said for new prospects? Did I send the 10 emails? You just want to be really honest about yourself. And if you're not doing it, then just understand you're not going to get to your goal. But the CRM sales funnel is great to know. And then coming up with realistic funnels, funnel descriptions, so that you know where you are in your sales cycle. I have mine as super hot, scorching, so that I know that I've already sent them a proposal. It's got numbers on it. And now we're just negotiating, between me and someone else. But you really want to look at the CRM sales funnels. And then you want to create a kind of a dashboard. The difference between analytics, like I'm talking about, and then business intelligence, BI tools. There's a couple of them. Stitch is one, but having business intelligence is kind of the next step for analytics. Business intelligence can actually give you insights on what's the next action you need to take, and quickly to be able to do that. So to be able to take all of this aggregate data to really take this and now give you actionable data so that you can actually go do something. And then you want to create the weekly milestones inside of this. What are the weekly milestones for your analytics that you're creating? How many calls, how many emails, what's the rates, and then track your success each week. Again, as I talked, Andrea and some others that are on this call can definitely help with the branding and make sure whatever it is that you put out there looks like you, and it's representative of your image. And then I put this slide, lost in the weeds. I like it because it was like the horse was in the fields, and looks nice, but you literally could spend your whole day in the middle of the field eating weeds and thinking everything's great, but you're not inside of your goals. And if you don't stop all action and look at, again, the numbers each week, be honest with yourself. I'm not getting it. Stop all action. Who is the person that you put down that's accountable, that you can pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm not here inside of my goals this week. Let's re-engage. Okay, let me start here. And now, but you have to stop all action. Call your accountability partner. You have to interrupt whatever's going on so that you can stay on task and stay inside of your vision. And that was my short presentation. Again, we can talk in more details about specific tools, but the biggest thing is to start somewhere. And you can start with some of the basic tools, and then really look at some of the other ones to scale to actually grow beyond that.
Awesome. Thank you, Curtis. And so I'm just going to give you a little round of applause on behalf of everyone for all your wonderful, really great tips. I was taking notes myself. Uh, William says, stay off the weed.
Stay off the weed.
Sandra's giving you some applause too. So we got just a few minutes for questions, and then we'll also have a little bit of wrap up here for some upcoming things that you're going to want to know about as well. So questions for Curtis, you're welcome to unmute yourselves if you want to ask it out loud, or you can type it here in the chat. Anything for Curtis before we start wrapping up here? Curtis,
I don't have a question,
oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Andrea, just a comment. This is Tasha with Pfizer, the Branding ABC family and everyone. Just really everything that Curtis touched on is so instrumental. And I just want to share like a little story. We're all trying to get our businesses back on track, and that we are pivoting, continuing as we.
Tasha, it sounds like it's breaking up just a little bit. it could be just me. Is it me?
Yeah. I think
Businesses is having a CRM. And,
Yeah, she's breaking up pretty bad.
oh, can you hear me?
now
It
we
was
can.
breaking up. Yeah, now we can. Yeah.
Now we
Oh,
can.
now we can't. Okay. Tasha, maybe try something. Maybe log out and log back in, and maybe we can have you come back on. Oh, Barry has a quick question. Can you
Yeah,
elaborate on?
I'm here. I just
Oh,
don't
there
know
you
if
are.
you guys can hear me.
Now we can.
Yeah,
We-
I'm here. So I'll say it quickly because I've been connected the entire time. I don't know what just happened, but CRM is one of the important aspects, and it goes along with, and I didn't hear if Curtis touched on this or not because I had difficulty connecting, but BCP. So like business continuity plans and disaster recovery plans are so important as we encounter different unforeseen activities. And I will just say that those businesses that had CRMs in place were able to actively communicate with their customer base all throughout. I'll just use the pandemic as an example. And so it's a great tool to actually incorporate CRM into your business if you haven't already. Also, Curtis touched on business intelligence, and that's like a big, big thing right now as far as buzzwords are concerned with analytics. And many of you may have seen like Power BI. I know as an enterprise, we use business intelligence and Power BI with a lot of our data and metrics that we're trying to report up and report horizontally across the enterprise. So I'll just touch on those two things because I can talk small business all day long. So I'm excited to hear about CRM and some of the other bullets that Curtis touched on that are really vital to small businesses.
Thank you, Tasha. And
Awesome. Thank you.
while your voice was working great there for your audio, could you also just share about Fiserv a little bit while we've got everyone on? If you're still available. If not, Fiserv is a proud sponsor of this webinar today. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead, Andrea. It just keeps, I don't know, it's unstable. So go ahead.
Oh, we're just saying we're proud to have you as a sponsor. Fiserv has been a wonderful support for Atlanta Black Chambers, a great cheerleader with us and a great partner in the community. So definitely be sure to check out Fiserv and their small business offerings. Tasha is our favorite contact there. And so thank you everything for everything that you do, Tasha and Fiserv. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for putting the link in the chat.
Yeah. Curtis, there was a quick question about.
Yep, I'm on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the cPanel, and it's funny because it's like one of those things that people just don't know. I'm going to share my screen really fast. Oops. I think you have to stop sharing.
Yeah, go ahead.
There we go. And so what I'm sharing my screen. Let me know if you see it.
We do.
This is like I said, a GoDaddy little instance. Web hosting cPanel is included. It's I think 10 or 15, maybe $20 a month, but you have a lot of power right inside of cPanel. And if you scroll down to the cPanel, there's this thing called Installatron. This right here. This Installatron lets you install so many different applications. It's not even funny. Literally, you can install, let's go application browser. There are literally hundreds. WordPress, Joomla, Drupal, Magento, which is a commerce. A lot of these are open source software that you can install at no cost. And again, you're only paying for just your hosting. vTiger's one. Sweet CRM, Sugar, which actually was created, all of them. I think Soho and a lot of the other ones use their open source code from Sugar CRM to begin with. So vTiger, these OS Commerce, so you literally can create vTiger from within here and open your own instance and install it.
Awesome. Thank you, Curtis.
Yep, yep.
Hey, well, thank you. Everyone saying thank you for all the tips. And a couple wrap up items before we get out of here. Ladies, if you are going to the Women's League retreat already, put a little yes in the chat. That's coming up March 24th and 25th. I think tickets may still be available. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, there is the link in the chat for you. 433 says yes, yes. Dr. Linda absolutely will be there. Awesome. Okay, so make sure you're coming to that, ladies. And there are some no-cost Atlanta business services. So spread the word to your friends. If you yourself are not a City of Atlanta registered business, but maybe you have a friend who is, they need to be taking advantage of these services, and it's free. So you can take a picture of that UR code or scan it right now. Send it to your friends who are City of Atlanta registered businesses, and they can get services like marketing, branding, HR, accounting, legal. People have gotten trademark services through that, print jobs through that for their business, video work. It's amazing. So definitely check that out. Will the presentation recording be emailed? Yes, it will. It sure will. So you can check it out there. And if you are not a member of the Atlanta Black Chambers, definitely consider becoming a member. Registration is simple and easy. As you can see, it's just a $50 one-time monthly. One time you pay $50, and after that, it's $29 a month from then on. Or you can get a little price break and just pay it all up front. Very, very affordable, cost efficient. If you've ever looked at chamber memberships anywhere else, it's just not comparable. So if you haven't joined, be sure to join. That link is in the chat as well. Yes, definitely, William. The services are phenomenal. I mean, it's a no-brainer. So you can also scan here. Again, this will be in your follow-up email and in the recording. And finally, also be sure to join the BrandITize Facebook group if you're not in there yet. It's where a lot of our experts like Curtis are in. So you can ask questions in there at any time about your business related to branding or tech stuff. That's a free resource for you. And
Andrea,
yeah.
when you're done, I just want to plug a particular event. So let me know when I can do that.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Melvin.
Okay. Hey, everybody. And first, let me give a shout out to my man, Curtis. I had to attend because I knew you were going to be dropping some, I would say, some powerful information, and it was good. It was stuff that we hadn't heard yet. And this is a good presentation. So we need to think about, okay, what's the next level here? Because some of the stuff you talked about, like, what was it, Upwork and Fiverr, I'm seeing that stuff, but I'm not using it yet. So I'm glad you shared that. So great. I mean, awesome. All right. Well, I want to say, hey, we've got a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, you see the different things in the newsletter and on social media. There's one event in particular that I want everyone to know about, and hopefully you can come out. So one of our members, Michael Swift, has created a product. He created something, tangible, if you will. And we're having a product launch event at the Gathering Spot. So this is Friday, April 7th. So it's not like it's tomorrow, giving you a little window here to work with. Friday, April 7th in the evening, 6:30 p.m. We'll be at one of our favorite venues. I know some of you probably attended the kickoff event or something that the ABC has done at the Gathering Spot. Food, DJ, just a great experience as we celebrate the launch of is it Store and Share Vault. So he'll speak on Tuesday Talks coming up, and he'll give a little brief overview of what this product is. But the event is going to be awesome. The product is a very important thing that he's created. So wanted to plug that Friday, April 7th at the Gathering Spot. Andrea, I did text you the link. If you can share that in the chat.
I just threw it in the chat. Yeah.
So yeah, just wanted to plug that because it's going to be nice, and I just feel like, hey, he's the Gathering Spot is not inexpensive, and he's paid. He's like he paid for this thing, and I'm like, yeah, man, we're going to definitely get the folks to come out. So thank you, Andrea, for that time.
No problem. Thank you, Melvin. And if any of you don't know Melvin yet, that's our president and CEO of Atlanta Black Chambers. So thank you so much for joining us and sharing that info. And finally, again, for those of you who are just joining, shameless plug, because it's my birthday and I can do that. So I know Curtis is like party. So Hello Spring Challenge is my business's challenge that I do. It's free. It's for personal branding this year. And so if you have not checked that out yet, or if you were just joining a little bit later, uh, here's the link for that in the chat. And Tamay says, I'll be there. Thank you so much, Tamay. Appreciate it. And if you have not seen Tamay's event, she's got something. She's with our BrandITize group as well. And she's got something coming up to help you plan out your quarter, your content for your quarter, right, Tamay? I believe so. Not to put you on the spot. I know you weren't planning to be on the spot, but
Yep, you're right.
thank you. Okay. Hey, thank you, Sheeta. Thanks, everyone. And I believe that is it for today. So I'm going to stop sharing this. Curtis, again, thank you so much. Everyone, thanks for joining. Appreciate you. Yeah. Oh, I thought you were about to say something.
No, I was saying thank you all for attending, and I look forward to hearing about your successes. Definitely.
Awesome. So look out for the follow-up email that comes out after this. We'll share links that were shared here today in that email, and also a link to the replay. For those of you who caught or missed a few of the things here, you can check it out in the replay. Thanks for the birthday wishes, and I will see you all next time.
All right. Great session. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. See ya.